What's going on, everyone? Good morning. American in Leeds podcast. My name, Alex Simon, coming live from my car here in upstate New York. Wanted to talk about three things. Wanted to talk about Angus Kinnear's program notes. Is there money at Leeds United? Yes or no? Let me hear your comments down below. And the back line, specifically the back four that we're currently using. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, etc. You control your algorithm. Your algorithm should not control you. Kinnear. Let's start with Angus Kinnear. He's an interesting character at Leeds United. Again, I found Leeds United during the Gary Monk era. Massimino, Cellino, was the owner. A man that, for all I know, he had like slick back hair, always had the shades up, even though it was cloudy in Yorkshire. You know, that was his thing. And Radrizzani came in. His first, usually when a new owner comes here, and at least in the United States, there are, the front office staff doesn't last. They're immediately swept out. So that was interesting. He retained Angus Kinnear. I thought it was interesting. And his first big kind of gaffe for me was the badge. The new badge rebrand. I mean, he was kind of the person that should have been ultimately blamed. He shouldn't have survived that. Because it was a terrible badge, and the person was like decapitated on a badge, giving the Leeds salute. It was just terrible. That was for me a red flag about him. Great guy. I want to preface all this with great guy. Second big gaffe. I have to just talk about this because I just find it interesting. I've been probably bottling this up for 3 years. Remember when the cutout of Osama bin Laden was found during the COVID era in the championship? Like, what are you doing? How do you not recognize that was Osama bin Laden? And somebody put that in the stands. I just was like, really? No one caught that? They're just doing, but whatever, you know. That was an interesting little thing too. That again, Kinnear's staff should have been on, but whatever, slipped through the cracks. So the program notes come out tomorrow night. Look, the program notes come out all the time. In this particular instance, the beat writer, Phil Hay, screenshots them, puts them out on Twitter, and then because we're up against the window, they go viral, everybody reads them, reacts, etc. My point here is, Angus, again, I think he's a good person, although I don't know him, but from what I've been able to digest of him in the documentaries and in interviews, is that he's a family person. He cares deeply about the club, cares intensely about the club. But I understand his job. His job is public relations. His job is to control the narrative. His job is also to manage the back office staff. He might be involved in finances as well. He works for Radrizzani. Let's not make any bones about it. This is who the man works for. He is the owner. And his job is to control the narrative. He's not looking at tape. He's not, he's not rating players, to my knowledge, really. I don't think he does that. He's the PR man. He's the spin man. Some people say he's an empty suit, which I get too. but he's there to control the narrative. And that's what he does. And so when he's managing expectations, that's really what he's doing in those program notes. He's managing expectations, saying, look at this great summer we've had. Look at the 2 international strikers we have, which they are technically international strikers. But, he's controlling the narrative. He's the spin doctor. And that's okay. I understand that going in. And then, kind of, we're always going to be looking. We're never going to say no, but, this is, if it's pencils down now, we're okay with that because look at what we've got. I don't have a problem with what he said because I understand who he is. Okay? But my disappointment, and now I can judge something differently in the next 48 hours. Next 48 hours, I might be going, we only invested $1 million, technically, from the sale of Rafinha and the sale of Phillips. So now you're telling me there's no money there? Now I can go to the next step of judgment. But this is the thing about Twitter, social media, the internet. It's a good thing and it's also a bad thing. It's like Leeds United fans were children and Angus was the dad that said there's no more cookies. And everybody goes, what do you mean there's no cookies? Look, we know there's cookies. We know that there's players out there. And for me, I know there's money there. I'm pretty sure there's money there. Now, how you control that money and how you want to invest that money, etc., is your own thing. But I know there's money there because of the brand, because of the Americans that came in, because of the tickets, etc., because of the Premier League money. There's money there. Now, what Rad Rosani wants to do with that money is up to him. Whether he wants to finance it, whether he wants to, how he wants to spend the money is up to him and the financial department of Leeds United. But, billionaires use their assets and just take the money and distribute it elsewhere. So this is a really bad example, but it's an example of Manchester United. The Glazers take Manchester United as an asset and they disperse it into other assets that they have to increase their wealth. They live in Florida. They own and operate obviously the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as well, which is a massive, and I think probably more, it's a bigger asset than Manchester United, maybe. Don't quote me on that. It's very big, though, as well, because of the NFL and all, et cetera, 49ers, the same thing, is my fear, that they might use Leeds United as just an asset to increase other things. So, I'm a fan of the football club. That stuff, I don't really concern myself about it. I know what's going on. But to me, is there money? Yes. How you get it, I don't care. Whether you've acquired it naturally through ticket sales, jersey sales, memberships, etc., TV rights, etc. How that, or you're financing it in your, taking money out of the club, that's another thing. But I think you can buy players. I definitely think you can afford a $15 million player and be okay. Maybe I'm wrong, but this is me. So, look, Kinnear's controlling the narrative. Is there money? He's managing expectations because there is a chance that we don't get anybody here in the next 48 hours. There is a strong chance we don't get anybody else. The negligence that's happening is not only the negligence that might happen through this window, and I don't want to say that because I think they've had a decent summer. I don't want to say that this entire window's been negligent, okay? I just want to say that I just want to say that the negligence is not only this window, but the previous window. That's what we're really paying for. The last year where it was Dan James, Junior Firpo, who's been extremely disappointed, hasn't been available. That's the minimum requirement. You have to be available. He hasn't been available. And Clausen. So that's what we're paying for. We didn't do any business. We didn't do any business in the winter, whether that's on Bielsa's small club philosophy or what. The smart thing to do is to reinvest into the club. They almost went down. So to chance anything this year, you would think they would want to put some more money into it. And again, I think they've had some decent summer, but they should go more negative than just $1 million or $2 million. I digress. I think that's pretty much it. The other thing I want to say about clubs too is you can't tell me there's no money when there's I know, again, this is a bad example. I'm using massive clubs, but Barcelona, Chelsea, Man City, all these clubs go, it's like a casino. We don't have to go a casino, but a $20 million player, I don't see that being a stretch. But maybe, again, I'm just a guy sitting in a car in upstate New York. All right, final thought is just on the back line. The back line is concerning, and I think it's been the issue in the past 2 games. I think we've been able to create chances. However, Brighton and Everton have both created, I don't want to say more chances, but they've been creating, I guess, chances where it's really 2-on-2, 3-on-3, 1-on-1 with the keeper at times. It's the chances that are like, oh my God, that's he's in, where our chances that we are creating take a lot more energy, and there's more of them, but they're not, I guess, as clear of a scoring opportunity. Probably some of this could be calculated in XG. I leave that to the statisticians, but what's concerning me back in the back line is Robin Koch has not had really a foot wrong. He just doesn't stick out in any of the games of like, Robin, what are you doing? As much as Rasmus has, and as much as Diego Llorente has. So Diego's going to continue to be a problem, and it's not just about Diego, it's about the left back, which we've been talking about for months. Until that line is closed up, it's going to be a longer season. I don't know if we'll be in a relegation scrap, but that back line has got to be tighter. And I hope Jesse recognizes that. And I don't know what the solution is, but he's gonna be the one left with that back line, as well as Hjelde, as well as Junior Firpo, who's apparently on the roster, and whoever else can help back there, Cooper, and Bill Ayling and Stuart Dallas. Those are, the promotion boys are guys that I think are going to be able to contribute this year in big ways and have big moments. The plus side is that we're not relying on them as heavily as we used to. A lot of them, they've got the treads worn down. They're calloused. I talked about that in a previous video, which is good because they understand this league and they understand how to operate, and they have no fear in situations. They've been in dealing with a lot of the conditions that happen during the course of a football game, but there's not a lot of tread on the tires, so they're breaking down. Bamford, Cooper, obviously Dallas is out, Ayling. There was times where Click just looked tired last year, Forshaw, etc. So These are guys that are just good to have behind the starting lineup. And I think that they're going to contribute this year. And they really, to me, can't get healthy quick enough, because I think they're going to contribute this year. I think specifically, I really think a healthy, fit, and firing Bill Ayling is going to look so good in this Marsh system. He's good. He's a good defender, shows the shoulder, and there was some shouts for him in the COVID year if he would make England at right back, which is insane because there's about 5 world-class right backs England has. So I really think Bill would do really great in this system. I also think I love him going forward. I mentioned this in another video. I think he's nimble. It's obviously a lot to just kind of throw somebody that had a scope in his knee, and I believe maybe he had a partial tear in his knee, to be jumping right back. Same with Dallas. But I would like to see them in the second half of this year really contribute. All right, that's it. Went over a little bit more than I wanted to. Like, comment, subscribe. You control your algorithm. The algorithm does not control you. Marching on together leads.